Welcome back to the case studies. I'm here with Kim, and she is working on breaking through billing blockages. She has to send invoices to her clients, but she doesn't send them. She procrastinates and delays for months or years in some cases. And she's tired of it, so she's ready to let it go. The funny thing is, when she creates invoices for her clients, she does that in a timely way. It's only when she has to create invoices to get money herself that she gets stuck. So I know other people out there have this issue. So welcome, Kim.
Thank you. Good morning.
Yay. So let's start by connecting to the light. So let's just close our eyes and take our consciousness up several thousand miles and connect to the truth, light, and love of our higher self, and bring that down through the top of our head, through our throat, our shoulders, chest, abdomen, hips, legs, feet, and take it down, down, down to the center of the earth and connect to the love, understanding, and acceptance of Mother Earth, and bring that energy back up through your feet, legs, hips, abdomen, stomach, chest, shoulders, neck, head, and the top of your head. So now you have light coming from above and below at the same time. And then expand your heart out as big as the room you're in, as big as the building, as big as the city, as big as the country, as big as the planet, as big as the solar system, as big as the galaxy, and as big as the universe. So that's connecting to light, TLC, to the Light Connect. And you can find that on the Intuitive Leadership website if you want those steps said somewhat slower. All right. So tell us about what happens when you go to send invoices to your clients.
I keep a list of things I've done for them. And the thing is, it's not that consistent. I might work for someone one day a month. And for instance, I had a client who I was doing numerous things for, managing their storage unit, doing mailing of Amazon books, all kinds of various things, processing their 1099s. So it wasn't all just one thing. And it was like, oh, I spent an hour on this. This is, $25. So let me just put that in the file. Or, oh, I mailed this letter to Korea for them, and that postage was, $3 US. So that's not worth sending an invoice for. So I had this folder with these time that I worked or miles that I drove for scanning purposes or whatever would just collect. And then I forgot about them because they're behind this lovely curtain that hides my home office space from my living room. And then maybe, every once in a while I would think about it and I'd have, that'll be, found money when I send that invoice. And I would never stop to create the invoice, and life just kept happening, and there we are. That's the main issue. Busyness and just little bits that, when put together, add up to something. But my mind never connected those two.
So you would keep records of what you needed to bill, but you'd never get around to actually creating the invoice or sending it.
Right. Or the email that the person would send me saying, could you weigh this box today at the storage unit because I want to, have it shipped to me or whatever it was. And then I'd print that email out and write the time that I took, and then that would be with me in the car. I'd write the weight on it. I'd email the client back. And then I'd put that printed out email in that folder to say, okay, I'm going to bill that person, that'll be $30. And, maybe one day this will be $100, and that'll be worth something substantial getting in my bank account. And then it just never got dealt with. Yes.
Yeah. So you have folders filled with things to bill that have been hanging around for months.
Yes. Yes, I do.
If not years.
Years, yes. For that one particular client, yes, it's years.
Wow.
But yet I also have a client that I work for almost on a daily basis, of many hours a day, 5 or 6 hours a day. And I sometimes work from my home and sometimes work at their location. And I have a timesheet, and I just, on my own, a weekly timesheet, printed off the web, it's very simple. And I just write my time in, my time out, any mileage if that was, because I'm an independent contractor. And I keep track of the mileage and expense if there is any of that, and then my time. And then every Friday, I'm very diligent with that. I create that invoice, and I get my payment, but that's my main bread and butter. That's my main source of income. So that's what pays my bills, and that's what sustains me. So any other client that I may pick up here or there, I consider as that's my gift. That's my spending money. That's I want to get a new garage door money. That's the project and the otherwise I wouldn't have money. And sometimes those things don't get billed. That one client that I have, that one that's come for years, but the others are beginning. I have 2 new clients I'm starting this month, and the funny thing is I'm hired to do their invoicing because they don't have time to do their invoicing. So look at the irony in that. They don't have time to create their invoices to.
Yeah, so I think we're having a little issue here because there's so much energy in the call and things to clear. So what will it take that we have wonderful connectivity and internet and computers work good and everything records good? So you've got some new clients you're going to have, and you're a bit concerned you're going to invoice them on time too.
No, I think I'm going to be able to create the invoices for them on time, because I'm very aware of the issue now that everything is being brought to the light. So, and they're new, and I want to be on with, I have projects to do at the house. I have exciting vacation weekends planned that I would like to use the money that those jobs will supply me to use for those things. So I actually have, I've forecasted out what I want to use those funds for, so I want to get them in so that I can use them for that. So it's not just like, oh, free money, let's build up the bank account. There are actually things they're going to go towards. But the funny thing I think is both of these companies, and they're completely different. One is a law firm, and the other is the horse farm. And they both have contacted me to create their invoices. Actually, one contacted me and I contacted the other because she's the attorney that one of my clients uses. And she would never submit her bills, her invoices, to me on time to pay for the company. And we pay her a retainer of $5,000 a month. So when she waits 3 months to send a bill, that's $15,000 on the books for that month instead of $5,000, for if she were billing us monthly the way she should. So I emailed her and I said, hey, it seems as though, look, that's like the broke helping the broken. And I said, it seems as though you have a problem creating your invoices, and it's possible that I could help you with that. And she said, oh my God, I really could use that. So she's contracted me to begin her invoicing, and that should start next week. So I feel like I went out and got that, and I'm going to make that happen, and I'm going to help her create her invoices so I can see that helping other people create their invoicing to get their money in helps them focus on what they do, what their business is, more than it helps them to do what they do instead of, they don't like business, they want to be a lawyer. They want to play with the horses at the horse farm. They don't want to be in there doing the books and doing the invoicing, but they understand that it's necessary to continue doing what they love to do. And so I've kind of put that, I'm trying to incorporate that myself with, forecasting out, okay, well, I want to go away for these 3 days, so I need this job to get this money to do that, because my main client pays the other bills, as I said. So I'm hoping that I'm on the bend, that I'm on the stretch of, it's all going to be okay from this point forward. But I also think a lot of it goes back to, and I've always said this about my mother, my birth mother, always has an issue with money. And she never has enough. And are you speaking to me?
Yeah, you said your mother has the same issue?
Well, not with billing anybody, but with money. Like, she never has enough. And she's always, it's like, I grew up thinking that money was always an issue. And so we never had enough. We never made enough. She never, we could never get nicer things. We could never go on a vacation. And I heard all of that growing up. So I think somewhere, back there in the back of my childhood mind, it's, okay, I'm not invoicing these clients because that's my slush fund. That's going to give me, so I don't ever have to act or react the way my mother has, and say the same things. Like, oh, I never had enough money, or, I can't do this because we don't have the money. And, that's not what makes my world go round. And I'm trying not to live that way. So I really do believe that has a big part of it too, if we really want to get to the root of it. And you'll notice now that little bit came out, we don't have any issues with our audio or video right now either.
Yes.
So that's what I think.
Great insight there, Kim. Some of these things may have come from your childhood. So are you ready to clear this billing blockage issue?
I am. So much ready, yes.
All right. So I just want you to contemplate creating these invoices that are months old or years old, and notice what you feel in your body.
And you want me to tell you what that is?
Yes, share with us what you notice in your body.
Well, I feel like when I can visualize myself creating the invoice or creating the email to ask for the money, and then I feel like I've exhaled.
So
go ahead.
So that's relief?
Yeah, it's relief. Yes. And it's another something checked off the to-do list, and it's 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah, that must be a big relief.
Yeah.
So you're thinking about creating this invoice that's years old, and you feel relief. What else do you notice? How does your body feel? Heavy, light, hot, cold?
I feel
tense,
hot.
Relaxed.
I feel hot and a little bit tense. Just warm from the inside out, like a hot flash kind of thing. And I have one more invoice that's left to create, and that's for the part of the job that wasn't that concrete. There's travel time, there's drive time with mileage or whatever. There's scanning boxes, and there's it's this whole clearing of the storage unit. So I'm going to attempt to visualize that the scanning to get rid of the heavy material that was physically in the storage unit is going to maybe the billing part, and then it's going to get rid of that. When the client felt so much lighter that they received everything electronically and didn't have stuff to deal with and didn't have a storage unit payment every month, then I feel like I can do the same. I can clear myself of the heavy junk that's sitting there, which is the burden of the creating, making the time to sit down for an hour or so and actually just create that invoice, and then feel as free as he feels with no storage unit payment and everything electronically, and it's done. And there might be another portion of it later on that person's dealing with, but I'll have resolution either way. So I'm looking forward to that, but the anticipation of getting to that is a little overwhelming.
Overwhelming, yeah. So let's focus on the getting to there rather than how it feels when it's done.
Okay.
Because that's what we want to clear out of the way. So you said you feel a bit hot and tense, like you're having a hot flush. You feel overwhelmed. Anything
Yes.
else you notice in your body, in your chest, your stomach, legs, head?
My head wants to think about other things I could be doing instead of that.
So you're
Other
distracted.
right, very distracted. It's so much easier to do empty the dishwasher, which is something I hate, than to sit down, or start a load of laundry, than to sit down and do that. Or there's always something else that needs my attention that my mind is going on to that instead of focusing on let's just get it done and feel better that it's completed.
Yes, it's funny when we have a task we procrastinated on for a long time that suddenly we become super productive on all those things we hate doing.
Yes. Yes.
So we talked about how your body feels. What emotions do you feel? You said overwhelmed. Wait.
Frustrated. Just frustrated that something that I know how to do is not getting done. And I've had assistance. I've had a friend and a current and former coworker assisting me, gently reminding me, hey, I want to help you clear your blockage. Hey, have you gotten with the client yet? Hey, are you working on this? And I'm like, no, but thank you for being there and gently nudging me. And the funny thing is, she was having a blockage with a client of hers as well. And I knew that. And it was my suggestion for us to get together to physically get boxes out of her hallway so that she could, I had been over to her house and she was like, oh my gosh, see that? And that was something physical that I could see. And it was like a clutter thing. So I was willing to help her because I think I clutter clear physically stuff, just not paper bill stuff for me. And she attempted to help me that evening, and we did make progress. So it was like, but now her task is all done and complete and finished, and she's still nudging to help me. But I'm grateful for that. But it is a bit frustrating that I shouldn't need assistance, like gentle reminders. I know this has to be done. Snap out of it, Kimberly. It's been 5 years. It's been half of a decade. Get it done. So that's the good me. That's the part of me that's like, better. And the other part is like, yeah, but all this other stuff is so important. And two, maybe there's fear. Maybe there's fear of it being, I talked about my one main client being my bills sustains my bills and my home. And the other two clients that I'm taking on are like projects and vacations, for house projects and little mini trips that money's going to be for. So maybe, and just talking, this is coming to me. This didn't come to me before now. Imagine that's my security. Like that little bit that might be over there that's left unbilled is the part that would be the tax refund check for my mom, when I was growing up, and we could get new shoes, or we could eat out at a restaurant that we never would eat out at, before. And maybe that's my security blanket. That seems to, that's clear to me now in just talking about it. Like I didn't think of that before.
So you're concerned your security blanket is not secure and might slip off.
Right. And then what am I going to have? But then possibly I could redirect, because one of those two new clients that I have was because I was proactive in getting them. Hey, you're not invoicing us in time. And I lost my headset. Sorry.
So you were saying you were concerned that your security blanket is not secure, and then you had a sudden urge to go to the bathroom and just had a big release, which is good. Often that happens to me when I'm working on clearing stuff. So that's good. And you mentioned you have high blood pressure. You think this affects that, or?
I certainly hope not. I don't think of it as an ongoing everyday issue. Maybe it's lingering. Maybe it does. Maybe it does affect it. I've had it ever since. I mean, I have a weight issue, so the weight is a problem. That contributes to it, but I've had it ever since I was pregnant. It's like it won't go away.
It won't go away. So you've got kind of a low-level stress going on.
Yeah. Maybe.
Well,
and weight, so I need to lose some of the weight. And then that'll help with the blood pressure. So that's part of it too.
Interesting. Well, yeah, certainly having undone tasks. And what I got when you said that you shouldn't need help or reminders from your friends, you should just snap out of it. That sounded like you feel a little guilty that you can't do this yourself.
True. I would agree with that statement.
Yeah. So we can work on clearing that too, because that kind of holds everything else in place. So.
Are they for me? Okay.
Yeah. So, it's definitely having a block in your life can affect your health and weight and blood pressure and stress. So, that could be something that improves once you've released this particular block. And maybe there are other things in your life that need to clear as well. So anyway, coming back to thinking about creating these invoices, you said you feel a bit hot and tense, like there's a lot of weight on you, overwhelmed, frustrated that you know how to do it, but you never do it. You just start feeling very distracted, and maybe you feel a bit guilty that you can't seem to do it yourself without help from your friends, and fear that your security blanket is not as secure as you want it to be and might slip off.
Yeah.
So any other emotions or bodily sensations you notice when you think about creating these old invoices that you've procrastinated on?
No, not anything that comes to mind.
So I'm going to ask you a question now, and I want you to just give me the first number that comes to mind. And the first number that comes to your mind is your intuition speaking. Second guesses would be your ego speaking. Are you ready to do that?
Mm-hmm.
So if you think about feeling hot and tense and lack of clarity, distracted, overwhelmed, a lot of weight on you, frustrated that you can't do something that should be simple, feeling guilty about it and afraid that your security isn't as secure as you'd like it to be, what's the youngest age that you had those same emotions and feelings?
4.
4. Who was that with?
My mother and my father.
Okay. And you don't have to remember the specifics of what happened, but let's make sure we're still connected to the light, with the light coming from above and below, and your heart's expanded as big as the universe. And then see the universe sending light from above and below to your 4-year-old self, where she had this pattern of feeling overwhelmed and guilty and frustrated, tense and hot, distracted. Clearing that from her. Do you happen to remember what happened to her?
Yeah.
What happened?
Her dad wouldn't come to pick her up.
Her dad didn't come to pick her up?
When it was his time. Yeah.
So your parents were separated or something? Or?
Yes, they had just separated. And I don't think this is by accident either. But can you see this? I just missed a call from my dad's cell phone. Just
from your dad? Yes.
Just as we spoke that. Yes.
That kind of thing often happens when we clear stuff. So keep sending light from above and below to your 4-year-old self, clearing the stuff she had then. Because you've probably repeated this same set of feelings many times in your life since then.
Absolutely. This is not the first time that this has come up.
And I'm not just talking about, obviously you weren't creating invoices when you were 4 years old, right. But you had other experiences where you felt you should be able to do things and you were frustrated you couldn't, and your security felt threatened. I often twitch when I'm clearing energy, so
Well, I might.
there.
Oh my gosh, it's happening again right now. Look,
He's calling again. Yeah.
I'm
You
going
can
to
call
answer it
him.
real quick. I'm going to answer it real quick. Keep recording. Hey, I'm on a conference call right now. Can I call you back? Maybe within 30 minutes. Do they need me to answer?
She says, well, don't they have a form to fill out or something?
No.
And she says, you have to talk to Hallie at the other office. She's the banking manager or something.
Okay. That's fine. That's fine. Could you get me the information from Hallie so that I could contact Hallie at the other doctor's office? Okay. Okay. And I'll call you that's fine. Then I'll call you. If she's the one who's going to handle it, then I'll call you when I'm off the call and I'll get that information. Okay. All right. I love you. Bye.
Yes. How interesting.
That's very interesting. He's at the doctor's and I'm working on clearing something for him with taxes.
Oh.
And he needs
with
a
his
letter
taxes.
of disability. Yes, with his taxes. And
so he can get some money.
So he won't owe money because we sent him a letter, and he's fully disabled, so he doesn't have to file in Maryland, which is where we live. So that's just funny. That's just the way. That's you. I love that. I love that just happened.
Yes. Yeah. It's related. So let's just keep sending light from above and below to yourself and your 4-year-old self and every other age that you've had these same sensations and emotions, the same pattern. And let me ask you another question from your intuition and just say the first number that comes to your head. From 0 to 100, how much percentage of this pattern is left for you in this moment?
Could you ask me that again, please?
So from 0 to 100, where 0 is none of this pattern is left and billing is easy, and 100 would be 100% of the patterns left and it's impossible to create new invoices, what percentage is left right now?
17%.
17?
Yes.
17. Okay. What would it take for it to be 0?
Once I get that final invoice completed.
Okay. What would it take to get the final invoice completed?
An hour of uninterrupted time.
What would it take for you to have an hour of uninterrupted time in your life?
It would take until Sunday.
Well, that's when, but what will it take? I mean, I'm getting the impression for you to get an hour of uninterrupted time is a challenge. Is that true?
It is.
So we're not asking when, we're asking what would it take for you to actually have an hour of uninterrupted time that you focus on creating this invoice?
That I schedule that time to occur. And the soonest that I can schedule that time to occur would be for Sunday. With everything that's going on.
What would it take for you to schedule an hour of uninterrupted time for yourself as opposed for other people?
It doesn't take that much time. Like I could, you mean for myself to do that task?
Well, you probably schedule time for other people's meetings and tasks all the time, and that's no problem. Right? Is that true?
Yeah.
But when it comes to scheduling time for yourself, maybe that's more of an issue.
Yeah, so maybe instead of scheduling a massage for this week, I should schedule to get the billing done this week, and that would feel better than the massage. That's a strong possibility.
Yes.
Yeah.
What relaxation and relief you'll have from getting this procrastinated task off your plate.
Yeah.
What a great way to reframe thinking about doing something that's going to be relaxing and joyful to have it done. And just like when you get a massage, sometimes there are times in a massage when it's a little painful, when they're releasing tense bits.
Right.
So, it's possible when you're doing this, you might have a little discomfort, but then you'll feel better later.
Very good observation. That's true. And just like feeling nervous in the beginning of starting it, feeling like I might have a hiccup throughout if I can't figure something out, at least I'm making progress, and by the end I'll feel better if I just carry through.
Right, you just breathe through it. Does that help when you're having a massage and there's pushing on a bit that hurts?
Oh, yeah. Breathe through it? Yeah.
Yeah. Can you breathe through this, creating this invoice that you've delayed on?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So let's clear everything in your mother and your mother's ancestors where she had the same pattern. See light coming from above and below to her and to all her ancestors. How many ancestors on her side of the family had this issue? What's the first number that comes to your mind on that?
2.
Okay, so let's clear both of them. And how many are on your father's side?
I think 2.
Okay, so let's clear both of them too. And you don't have to know who they were. It's just the number that came to your intuition. So you have consciousness on this.
Oh, well, I was thinking there are actually people each that are here now that are their siblings.
No. You're talking about hundreds of years of ancestors.
Oh,
so how many?
Yeah,
you don't have to
clue.
know them. Well, if you did have a clue, what number comes to your head?
71.
70.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. So let's clear all 71 of them. They're going to be real happy after these hundreds of years to get this thing off their chests too.
And I'll be real happy after 5 years just to get it off of mine.
Sure. Okay. And then how many past lives have you had where you've had the same pattern?
I know I've had numerous past lives, but I don't recognize this pattern in them.
You don't have to recognize it. You're just asking for the number that comes into your head when I ask how many past lives have you had with the same pattern.
Okay. Could you ask me again?
How many past lives have you had with the same pattern?
14.
Okay. So let's see love and light going into all 14 of those, clearing those. How many future lives did you have set up with the same pattern?
None. 0.
Okay. 0. Okay. And how many other dimensions do you have of this pattern?
I don't understand that question.
You don't have to understand. What number comes into your head when I ask it?
0. 0.
Okay. Okay. Is there anything else we need to clear to release this pattern from you?
Nothing comes to my mind.
How much percent of the pattern is left now?
3%.
3.
Mm-hmm.
What would it take to get it to 2%?
Maybe a couple more deep breaths. I don't know.
Okay, we'll take some. How many deep breaths do you need to take to get it to 2%?
2.
Okay, so take 2 deep breaths. Okay, how much percent is left now?
It's at 1 now.
Great. What would it take to get it to 0?
Like a shimmy. I just feel like I have to shake it out.
Okay, well, shake it out. Just, you can stand up and move around, dance it out. Just listen to what your body says that you need to do to let it go.
Okay, I'm good.
Okay, so now when you think about creating this invoice on Sunday with an hour of uninterrupted time, what do you notice emotionally and in your body?
Rainbows and butterflies. Really?
Right.
Sighing, just exhaling, and feet in the grass. Like, that's what I visualize. That's what I feel. Just bare feet in the cool earth, the grass, and just grounded and springing like forward. That's
so you're moving forward, grounded, happy.
Yeah.
Great. Well, great work, Kim. So you got rid of this in less than an hour.
Good. Where have you been the last almost 5 years?
I was here the whole time.
Yeah, you were.
Yes. So, do let us know how things go on Sunday with creating this.
Okay, I will.
And thank you for being brave, for getting conscious about something you'd been resisting for a long time.
Thank you for offering to assist.
And for helping all the other people who have the same issue in their life and business.
That would be wonderful. Because nobody needs to carry all this. I really feel like I need to just do like that. Like, just physically, I'm feeling like, energy is like trying to escape. Like, maybe that's the negative energy is trying to go away.
Sure. Well, and your positive energy wants to move.
Yeah.
Because it's being kind of trapped. Right? Because doing tasks in your business is part of the life force that wants to move in your business. And this has been constipated and it wants to move on through.
Wow. And I think it's at the perfect time that I'm starting 2 new clients, one Friday and one next week.
Yeah, so you won't have any, you will be able to get the invoices done for them real easy.
Right.
And your own invoices to them.
Yeah, right. Huh, okay. Thank you for letting me do this, for being there, and for helping me see that it's all like right there, like right within reach now. Like, I can see things. I see the new garage door going up on the house. I wasn't seeing that, I'm seeing the things happening. I'm seeing speed. I'm seeing.
It's okay to bill and get money to spend on yourself.
Yeah.
That's fine. It's okay to get money to pay the rent and get food for you and your family. And it's also okay to get money just for things that are fun and joyful.
Right.
And it's okay to have savings.
Yes.
And it's okay to be better at this than your mum was at the same age you are now.
Absolutely. And I'm trying to train my sisters on how to be a little bit better too, so that we can all advance forward. And maybe we can include Mom in that too. I've tried to, talk with her.
Maybe they all will improve. Maybe they won't. But let's just cut cords with your mom and sisters and dad. So cords are just the negative energy you run between each other. You keep the love connection you have. So just see a pair of scissors or a big sword from Archangel Michael cutting all those cords.
That's a good visualization.
Because often...
That's a good visualization.
Yes, it is. And where in your body was the most strong cord attached?
At the waist.
At the front or the back?
Like the hip area, like around the hip.
And your hips, around your hips, like a
like
belt around the hips?
Way. Yeah.
Wow. And how did you allow that to stay attached to you for so long? Because it's been there for years or decades, right?
Yeah, it has.
So what in you allows that to stay there? Allowed it to stay there?
Like a feeling of necessity, like that's how it should be. And that's a word that I don't like to use. Should. But yeah. Like, like somebody wants you this way, somebody wants you that way, there's and I just want to break free from that and move forward. Wow.
So let's just send light to your waist where you allowed that to stay attached. Where you should do things a certain way. Do things the family way. Even if the family way is a little crazy or not empowering for you personally.
Huh.
And where's the set? How many cords did you have attached to your different family members in total?
Is this where I'm just giving you a number that comes to my mind?
Yeah, right.
4.
Okay, and what's the second one? Where was that attached?
The wrist. One on each
Both
wrist.
wrists?
Mm-hmm.
Like handcuffs or?
No, like another
bracelets?
pull, like somebody pulling this way, somebody pulling that way, and I know what that is. I have that visualization that's coming to me now. It's like, it's between me. It's not really a family. It's myself. It's me as a mom and me as an individual. Not the mom. Like that pull. Wow, I wonder if this will help with that little gimp and limp I've had in my hips for a while.
Could be. So let's send light to your wrists so that you don't have to be pulled in different directions as a mom and individual. You can be your true self all the time. And what's the third place? What was the third most powerful cord attached to you?
Ears. On my ear, around my ears and on my earlobes.
Ears. And how was that? How did you manage to keep that there all these years?
It was just by my ear, and I felt like I should always hear what was going on. Like I should always be aware. Like I should always be on guard. I should always, listen out for what's about to occur.
Okay, so let's throw, because you're using this, you're being conscious of it, and you had these cords in place to make you smaller than you are, because we're all infinite spiritual beings, but we pretend to be restricted, restricted human forms. Whereas really we're a spiritual being with a body, not a human occasionally having spiritual experiences.
Right. Oh, I firmly believe that.
So let's clear your ears where you had this pattern in place. So always be on guard in case something is going to go wrong. And then where was the fourth cord attached?
That's it. It was hips, each wrist, and an ear.
Oh, which ear, left or right?
Right. And I'm left-handed, but it was my right ear.
Yes.
So my left side is dominant, but it was clearly on my right ear.
Okay. So when you cut cords, you always look at where the cord was attached and heal how you kept it there. Otherwise, it tends to regrow. And just as your father called you earlier, it's entirely possible you'll hear from the people you cut cords with. Right, because they may notice the energy has shifted and want to reattach it so they can stay in their comfort zone instead of growing. So that may happen. That often is the case if you cut cords with ex-boyfriends, for example. If they still have stuff going on, or you had stuff going on that you never cleared.
Huh. Okay. Well, I didn't think it was any of that, but.
No, I don't think that affected your billing blockage, but I think these family cords were related.
Yeah, I agree.
Great. All right. Well, drink lots of water, get some rest today. If you're able to walk barefoot on the grass, that's always good.
That would be lovely.
And just see the light of the universe filling in any spaces you've created in your energy system and body, right? You don't have to use your body's own energy to fill in those gaps. Often when people increase their consciousness level, what's sometimes called ascension, which we're all doing right now. Sometimes people take the energy from their body to fill in any gaps that were created or spaces that are now available, and then they get sick, right? Because their body's using its energy to fill in the gaps instead of keeping healthy. But you don't need to do that.
I'm not getting sick.
No, because you're visualizing light coming from above and below, filling in all the spaces you've just created.
Yeah.
So your body's cells. Yes, that's right. Fill in with more light.
Right.
All right. So are you complete for now?
I'm complete for now. Thank you.
Great.
Yes.
Well, thanks, Kim, for doing this and doing the extra cord cutting too.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And to all of you out there, you too can do this.
Yes. Wow. What would it take for you two to do this?
Right.